Hello, XolovA here from DivineRPG. Today I will be providing the first sneak peek to the public of the Dungeon of Arcana. I will be covering answers to many questions that a lot of people have later in the video. Now what you're seeing here is the actual dungeon itself. Now the dungeon is its own dimension, separate from any of the others, and it is an infinitely generating dimension. The dungeon is comprised of a ton of rooms that do actually vary in size, and in a way it is sort of maze-like. Now everything that happens in the dungeon takes place within the dungeon. There is actually little interaction with any of the other dimensions within inside of it, besides the fact you can bring your own items here. Now, as I said, everything takes place here. You notice I have a key. These doors can only be opened with corresponding keys. Keys are used to find a special new arcanium ore that is only found inside of the dungeon. Now what an extractor does, they actually take the ore as well as a fuel, which I'll be going over later, and they combine it into arcanium, which is used to buy stuff from the NPCs. What I'm jumping over right now is heat traps. These spawn throughout the dungeon. They are a strong block that when touched hurt you. They are not activated by mobs, only people. They also will set you on fire upon contact. Now, as I said, there's a collector. The collector is used by killing mobs to charge it up. When fully charged, it would be used as the fuel for the extractor to receive. Throughout the dungeon, uncommonly, boss spawn rooms will spawn. These rooms are much bigger than normal ones, and will have some sort of altar in the middle, depending on the boss. With the wizard will sell you a book, and when the book is placed onto an altar, it will spawn the boss accordingly. Now, in the dungeon, you will need good equipment to survive. I actually have the best enchanted equipment right now, so I will not even take damage. However, most people will not enter at this level. The mobs throughout the dungeon are not easy mobs. Lots of them do have their own special abilities and provide quite a bit of damage. As you can see here, I just got blinded by the Death Hound. The dungeon can get kind of chaotic at times, and only those who are fully prepared to fight should enter the dungeon. There's a wide variety of mobs within the dungeon, and it provides kind of an interesting touch. Right here, I just went into a room that's swarmed with mobs, and usually this would not be a very good situation. This is why the dungeon is something different, because you finally have to fight in close quarters, since the blocks of the dungeon are not destroyable. There's quite a few NPCs in the dungeon. This here is the herbalist, who will sell you anything related to plants. There's also a mechanic who will sell you mechanical blocks. There's an arms dealer who will sell you weapons and armor. There's a wizard who will sell you potions. And there is finally the tamer who will sell you pets. You may also notice that the NPCs actually will talk to you. One of the new features that I absolutely love that we have to talk about before we get into anything is this new tooltip. You'll see that now when you hover over an item, it'll tell you the amount of damage, what type of weapon it is, what type of tool, and the number of uses it has. This will provide extra help in-game. On your HUD, you'll notice a new bar. This is your Arcana bar. It is used for multiple items, such as weapons. This weapon consumes Arcana. When the starlight this weapon is used, it'll actually drop stars from the sky. When aimed at an enemy, it'll hit the enemy and deal a decent amount of damage. This update adds many new Arcana weapons. They all act differently. This is just another one of them, the Firefly. What the Firefly actually does is it'll shoot shots that move towards the enemy and will home in on them. And they will hit you if you are close to an enemy and shoot it in the opposite direction. The last weapon I'm going to show you in the video is the Arcanium Reflector. Now, it actually deals no damage, but it provides massive knockback on enemies when you click on them. One of our many new pets is the Fire Crix. It is a Death Crix that you can actually tame, and it looks slightly different. It'll follow you like any other pet. It is sold from the tamer and is free to tame. Now what it does is, if I just go over here and punch one of these sheep, it will take it out with the effect of ranged fireballs. Another one of our new pets is the Seamer. What the Seamer does is he will follow you around. He deals no damage to any enemies that you attack. However, he will actually regen your Arcana twice as fast. As you notice here, if I use up some Arcana on the Starlight by firing it, my Arcana bar will regenerate twice as fast as usual due to the aid of the Seamer. Yet another one of our pets is the Golem of Rejuvenation. It is a little golem that will heal you when near you. Just like the Seamer, it will not attack. However, if I go down here and lose some of my health, and there's a jungle Jamcrick, so we'll engage in combat. You'll notice that the Jamcrick does quite a bit of damage to me, but my health regenerates quite quickly due to the Golem of Rejuvenation. The last pet we will be showing off is the Paratiku. The Paratiku is a flying pet that will actually fly into mobs that you attack. I'll be flying on creative, however you could also fly with the use of angelic armor. It will fly even if you are not flying, it will always follow you and take the most efficient route. Now, for example, if I punch this cow on the tree down here, you'll notice that the Paratiku will finish off the job and kill the cow for me. One of the many things the mechanic sells is he sells a bunch of new furnaces. These are only 2 of them. They require firestock as fuel. Now, this one usually actually smelts slightly faster than the original one. Some smelt much faster than this one. Now, I said that this one requires firestock as fuel. If you look at this furnace, the molten furnace, it actually does not require fuel. It is slightly slower than the original furnace, but you will never need the use of fuel. One of the mechanic's other new blocks is the Arcanite rails. When a minecart is pushed on them, it will keep on moving. Like powered rails, however, they do not require power. This is an improvement to the old Uvite rails. One of the mechanic's more useful blocks is the Star Bridge. If you remember from the Illuma Bridge, it is a bridge that you can walk right through, however when activated you can't. Now, Illuma Bridge required redstone all along it to stay powered. However, with the Star Bridge, with the simple use of one lever, it'll power the whole bridge and you can walk right across, providing easy transportation and the use of new traps. Along with new combat, this update does add some new stuff for those who like building and being creative. These here are stained glass windows. 2 new swords that we added to the overworld were the Frost Sword and the Molten Sword. The Molten Sword actually comes from the Nether. The Molten Sword will set enemies on fire, while the Frost Sword will slow enemies down. These are 2 swords we were kind of missing in previous combat. The old Elevantium Acceleron and Accelerange no longer have recipes and are now sold by the mechanic. They also received texture upgrades. Hellstone ingots now only require 1 shadow bar. Boss spawners now only require 4 instead of the old 8. Another noticeable change was that Aquastrive armor is now crafted with aquatic ingot. We get asked, will shards have more of a use? And the answer is yes. In this update alone, they already have a new use. I said that we added a few new items. These items fill in gaps that we had in the old combat system, such as a new ender bow, a corrupted cannon, a frost sword, and a molten sword. Another common question we get is, with enchantments, what can be enchanted and what can't? The answer is actually very simple. Anything that's infinite uses, permanent uses, and this does not apply to armor, cannot be enchanted. Another common question is, will we buff the ore spawn generation? The answer to this is no. We've done it twice already, and we do not plan to do it anymore. The main reason for this is because there will be a big imbalance between strip mining and non-strip mining. Right now, non-strip mining, they can still be obtained at quite a few per hour, and we did nerf the boss spawners, which was one of the things most people complained about, that was too needy for the Erlemite and rupees. My best advice to mining rupees and Erlemite, and even with Erlemite, is at levels 11 or 7. The underground mob, known as the Eye, will also always now drop rupees. A music box, depending on the box, it will play music for different biomes. For example, the natural music box is for all ocean biomes, beach biomes, forest biomes, extreme hill biomes, plain biomes, etc. Now, to use a music box, all you have to do is have it in your inventory. So, for example, if you have a natural music box in your inventory, whenever you enter one of those biomes I just listed, the music will play. Many bosses received AI upgrades, many of them. That's because before they were not that engaging of fights, but now we tried to make them a lot more engaging. I'm just going to show off one, and this is one of the weakest upgrades, in my opinion. And this is with Carrot. Carrot is the massive bunny. He now also spawns minion angry bunnies when attacked, and he will spawn a bunch while dead. Now, although you're not actually supposed to be able to fight him in the overworld, I'll just fight him here for the demonstration. Now you notice, as he chases at me, he'll be laying down more angry bunnies in his path. Now, the most common question that we get, and I saved it for last because it's a long question, is will mobs be nerfed? Now, you'll see here I'm not wearing any decent armor, basic iron, and I only have a basic iron sword with knockback 1. Now, this is actually enough equipment to survive against DivineRPG mobs. Now, I'm currently in a snow biome, which is considered one of the most treacherous biomes. And to demonstrate that the reason we don't have to nerf them is because it is currently survivable, I egged on the glass shard right behind me, so now it's chasing me, and I'm just going to get out of the way of that frost. And I'm just going to outrun it for a little bit, and I'm just going to smack it here. But you'll notice that you actually can survive if you use combat techniques, and you won't even take damage. Now, if I were to take damage right now, I would likely get 2 or 3 hits, unless I'm very, very lucky. Now, right now I need some food, so I'm actually going to try and fill up my food bar while I fight off the glass shard. Now, while sparing time between the glass shard's charges, I am able to kill the pig, and I'm just going to go pick up my pork. Okay, now that I have the pork, I'm just going to smack it back so I can get time to eat. And I'll switch back to my sword, and now I filled up my food bar. And now, just to get an aggro off of me, I am just going to run away, using the knowledge that the glass shard will not be able to run up hills quickly, to my advantage, because I can, and already it has now lost its aggro on me.